Welcome to Midlife Schmidlife, the online community for listeners who want to redefine the middle years and recreate their lives lived to the fullest. Join our host, Liz Applegate, as she interviews guests over the age of 40 who are turning their maybe somedays into today and going after their dreams. Let's get the party started.
What's up, Schmidlifers? Welcome back to the Midlife Schmidlife podcast. I'm your host, Liz Applegate, and this is episode 20 of the podcast. Before we get started, I want to welcome all the Midlife Schmidlife listeners and also encourage you to head over to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and now iHeartRadio to subscribe to the show. And while you are there, I'd love to have you leave a review and rating. Today on the show, I'm welcoming my friend Hélène Scott, a business and brand alignment coach who guides multi-passionate, soulful women to help them build a business that they alone were born to create. Our discussion is around going from idea to business and what happens in that gap between the two. It's a great conversation if you've ever had a dream of starting your own business, but also if you already do have one, but feel that something is just a little off and the clients that you are attracting are not really the ones that you're wanting to work with. We discuss the places many new entrepreneurs get stuck, how to avoid the FOMO Syndrome, which is fear of missing out, and Hélène's core message on creating a business that is in alignment to your values alongside your life. All of the links to the show can be found over at midlifeschmidlife.com/bop, and that's B-O-P. Be sure to listen to the episode because you will find out what bop means to Hélène. And so now let's head on over to the interview. Hello, Schmidlifers. Today I'm here with my good friend, Hélène Scott. And first, I just want to jump in and say that I love that I can have so many good friends as my guests on the podcast. But Hélène is a business and brand alignment coach who works with multi-passionate and soulful women entrepreneurs. Now, she helps them build a business that they alone were born to create. And I'm just so happy to have her. And thank you, Hélène, so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to share our little story because I always like to do that with my friends that I know. So Hélène has a wonderful group online called the BOP Collective that I actually joined. I think it was 3 years ago. I cannot believe it. But has it been 3 years? I think so. I think
2 years. 2 years. No, 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years. All right. It just seems like that we've been friends
forever.
For a long
I know.
time.
I agree.
In a good way.
When you meet your soul friend, that's what happens.
That's right. Right. So it was just kind of serendipitous. I've started working with Hélène on my own business, and in the process, somewhere along the lines, we became good friends, and we've actually had a weekend away together and looking forward to another one coming up next year. Yeah. So I just want to encourage people. We live in such a time, and especially when you're thinking about building a business, that there are some wonderful networks available where you can meet like your soul friend, and it's just wonderful. So I wanted to share that with our listeners. So.
Yeah, it's really true. It's amazing what the people that you can meet in opening that door, what that opens. I just excited to live in a time that it is so easy to do so, and the hesitation isn't there, which is just really lovely.
Right. It is just such a different world. Mm-hmm. And we are actually going to talk about taking an idea that you may have and then building a business around it. And I think speaking into that, we live in such a great time to be able to do that. I mean, when you think of maybe even just 10, 15 years ago, the opportunity has changed so much because of technology.
It's completely different. Yeah, the tool, just having the tools that are available to you. So it's not just the communities and support, which is fantastic, but also the tools that make so much of this easy. The notion of building a business kind of more brick and mortar, there's so much that goes into the cost of obviously the physical place and then potentially employees and then, lights and, all of these things and advertising. All those costs used to be so high. And then even in the beginning and taking your business online, you would have to pay for customized solutions with your website or with your platform. And with advertising also super expensive in the beginning in terms of being online in a business. And now it's amazing. The cost is so down. You can really start this at a really low cost level. It's the day-to-day part that becomes the challenge, which is part of what I know what we'll discuss today. Kind of how is it that you actually then start?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it and just, the technology itself, like I'm in Texas, you're in California,
yep.
We're having this conversation and people all over the world are listening to this episode. So that just gives us a glimpse of just the awesomeness that we are in right now.
No doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get back to taking that from an idea to a business, because I know that, the Schmidlife listeners, a lot of times this is a time, and I touch on this quite often, that this is a time in their lives when they have an inspiration to do something new. They may be looking at making a career change, and a lot of times, and me included, I'm in this discussion right here. We have had an idea or we have an idea and we think, I wonder if I can start a business.
Yeah.
But there's this big gap between this idea and then actually launching the business. And so I thought that would be a great place for us to start.
Yeah. There's a lot to kind of unpack within that, because that itself, just that statement itself, is huge. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes when something is so big and feels kind of so far away, if it's not something you've ever done before, that itself can be the barrier of entry, right? Like just how unknown that feels can feel huge. It can feel like a really big weight. Right. And so part of the thing to do is there's a few things with ideas. Sometimes ideas can be the stepping stone to what's next after that idea. So one thing to know is that not every idea is something that has to become something. So I often work with women that we kind of the term multi-passionate, meaning, lots of ideas. Like there is no, there's no lack of how many things that you could possibly do. Oh my God, this, and right. So how is it that you begin to edit out and find the one that has legs, quote unquote, to actually be something that is a business? And so I think one thing is to determine and to honor yourself that there might be some things that are just great ideas and that are more for yourself, or that potentially might not be the thing that is a business, but the thing that, again, is a stepping stone. And so, and allowing for that. And so I say that I think it's important because there can be you have this first initial idea and you begin to go with it and it doesn't feel like it's working. And so that can be a really easy place to then just stop and give up. But that may not have been what that idea needed to be, right? Again, it could be the stepping stone to, maybe that didn't work. That actually happens often,
right? Because
you're discovering what's going to work. If you are moving, especially if you're moving where you have not been in this kind of business building space before, you had a different job, a different mom, whatever it was that you've been doing, parent, and you're moving into this space, then what you're doing is you're taking what you've known before and putting it into this space of how is it that I make it into a business. And that just, again, it has a lot of pressure around it. So looking at and being kind to yourself around this thing and allowing yourself the opportunity to stumble and figure it out, and knowing that that's actually part of the process, that just is, there's no way around it whatsoever. No matter what, you will stumble, you will fall, you will have days in which you're discouraged, and you're going to have this, when it's a pull, this is another kind of sign that it does have legs. It's like, if it won't leave you alone, if this idea will not go away, like, okay, let's unpack that one, right? Let's look at that one. So once you kind of have the allowance that this is a journey, that it isn't, that part of the journey when you're doing your own thing like this, also when you're going after something that's really dear in your heart, that really holds a lot of passion, holds a lot of just tenderness as well, right? Like there's something about this that it takes time, and it takes you along this journey of self-discovery at the exact same time, right? So Liz is nodding her head, because when you're in this for a while, you may know that on the onset, but boy, you really experience it in the middle of it. You learn a lot about yourself, and that's the beauty of building a business that's in alignment with you, so that you're not at odds with building the business, right? You're finding the how is it that I can build my business alongside my life? If you have kids still at home, if you're doing other things in your life where this business may not be a full-time thing, it's a part-time thing, how do you juggle all of that? How do you have it alongside your life rather than having it kind of bash heads against it? So there's lots of self-care, there's lots of tenderness quite often in the beginning stage. And this is where, again, finding communities, finding a business best friend, finding something, someone, some form like that, because having that camaraderie, that support is really helpful, because yes, there will be days that are hard. And so I don't know if there's a question that you have coming in. I feel like I could keep going and going.
I love that you could keep going, actually. I think it's important to point out too that what you just said, I'm nodding my head yes, because I can actually retrace my steps over the last 3 years or so, and giving yourself tenderness is, that's just
it's big.
So important and so big.
Yeah.
So giving yourself tenderness is so important, because I can't tell you how many times, and actually from firsthand experience, how I would go down one path and think, oh, this is the path, and then realize, oh,
it's not.
The idea was good, but then as I was taking steps toward it, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah. And that's so key right there. It's paying attention to how you feel as you're doing the work that you're doing, as you're figuring this part out. There's the thing that you will build, or that I so hope that you'll build, everyone who does this, is trusting your intuition, because that is your basically your best friend. It's your co-pilot in building your business, because you have an idea, and until it actually starts to go out into the world and you start to have interaction around it, your heart's thumping because you're putting it out there, you're getting feedback, all that stuff, like that is a scary part. But until then, it is actually it's a theory, it's an idea, it's right. You don't know yet.
Right.
And so it's not until that you actually start that you find out, do I actually like doing this? Right. Because a lot of times you'll start something, especially in the beginning, you'll start something because you used to do it, so you think you should do it, or people say you're good at it, so they think you should do it, right? And well-meaning, loving family, friends, colleagues, whatever, but you've always done this. Well, why aren't, but it might not be your thing anymore, right? It's like what you've done in the past has gotten you to where you are right now, but it may not be the thing that's going to get you to where you want to go. So there has to be this willingness to find what's next, and to drop things that, although all those things that you've done in your past have brought you to where you're at, and have given you kind of proof of, and I don't know, just proof of where you're at, that you can do these things, right? I can do this, but you might have a new slant on it. And you might discover that I'm really good at this one part. I've always loved this one little part, and now I want to make it bigger into what I want to do next. And so in those stumbles and in those testings, this is the thing I call test and pivot. And the idea is that when you have an idea, that you don't do the biggest version of it, because also that in itself, if it's big, you probably oftentimes won't start because it feels too big. So you break it down. What are the things? What's the small part of that I can start? What's a small iteration? What's the little itty bitty baby cousin of that version, right? Of that idea, so that I can start it, so that I'm not spending a ton of money, not spending a ton of time. I'm not putting it up on a pedestal so that if it does fall, it's okay, right? What's the smallest iteration of this idea that I can try? And sometimes that might even be like, say you want to be, I don't even know, a speaker or a coach or something. And so is there something in there that's a smaller version? If you want to do speaking out on a big stage, obviously you're going to start locally at something really easy and small, right? What does it feel like to be in front of people? Maybe it's even doing something online, kind of a workshop thing, because still you're speaking, right? So it's finding that voice. That probably is one of the very first things. If you want to be a speaker, you need to have that comfort level of finding your voice. Maybe it's that you're videotaping yourself and nobody sees the videotapes, but you're saying your speech, right? It's like, these are the little things that actually start the momentum. And so that's one of the things that no matter what, until you start, you won't actually find out the direction you really are going in. It's just kind of hard. It's that first step. Right. So it can be really hard.
And it's a step. And I think that I'm going to point this out, because I think that there's a difference though between taking a step, like it's a physical step. It's not a mental step.
Yeah.
Right? Because I
Yes.
think that we can so easily get caught into thinking about it is actually doing something about it, right?
Right.
And as I have like a big guilty sign that I'm holding up, because it is so easy to get caught in our head and just think, oh, we're going to do this, and I have this great plan. But until you take that step to start implementing that plan, you're not moving forward.
Yeah. And it really is amazing what happens when you take that first physical step. That, again, that is when you start to find out more. It's almost like you have to, you know that you're going on this path. It's dark outside. You're going on a path. There's only so much lighting in front of you, but actually the light doesn't begin to light up until the first step goes down. So you put the first step down, and then about 3 feet in front of you, more light shows up. But what you didn't know before you even took that first step is it's not just like, is the depth of the path or that like that the terrain's a little bit different. Like you thought that the path was going to go up and to the left, but when I put my step down and the light shows up, it actually turns out I'm going to the right. Check it out. Right. And you wouldn't have known, you know? So this is this kind of like slow iteration growth that happens, that only happens through action. It really only happens through action. And I was just thinking of this analogy actually this morning around like, if you don't, the action is the sustenance for your business. So if you don't take action, your business starves, period. And this is in whatever little form. And I was thinking it for myself because I'm guilty of this, like this one area of my business that I don't tend to like spend as much time on. And I really should. And it's like, oh yeah, it's starving over there. Check that out. No wonder I haven't been taking action there. So, you know, it's not just the business as a whole. There will be little parts of your business that you'll find easier to do. And there will be parts of your business that are harder. And that's one of the things also in starting your own business, you have the hat of every single aspect of that business. And so you will find the areas that might be a little bit harder for you to take action on because this is not the thing I like to do, right? And so finding how you do that as well. Again, this is where having support, accountability, business best friend, all that stuff can help because sometimes you don't want to write that blog post.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes, I can speak into this very well, and that starting your own business is like the greatest. I consider it a gift. There's been times when maybe I wouldn't have used that word, but greatest gift of self-discovery ever. I mean, all of your stuff comes up.
Yeah.
All of it. You realize where you procrastinate, where your hangups are. I mean, it just really does. And that to me is a good thing. It's a sign of, it's a growth pattern. I want to go back to the analogy you were using on the path. And I think that's something that is where new entrepreneurs can get caught up is we expect our path to be fully lit. Right. It's kind of like, I'm not going to take that step until my path is fully lit, right?
Won't happen.
Until I have all the answers, right? It's not going to happen.
Nope.
I know.
Nope.
But we expect that.
Yes, it's very true.
Don't want to take that first step until we know all the answers. We have all our questions answered. We've got all our ducks in a row. Yeah. So.
And that's right. And that's where you can spend so much time. So for people that might be like, okay, I'm not going to press publish on my website until I have everything in place, and my course is in place if you're doing a course, for example, or my book is done or whatever that thing is. But that's an example of when I was talking about test and pivot, where then you've spent so much time on this one part that like that's so much effort and time, and then it's very much on a high pedestal at that point, right? So if then you finally hit publish and you're like, well, wait, where's the people? I'm supposed to get droves of traffic.
Right.
Like, oh, it doesn't work that way. You know, it's like that's again a beauty in starting small, is that then the vibe, the word starts to get out, like as opposed to, you know, that's where you start to find your people. You start to find where can you talk about your thing, so that's where this is where my tribe lives. This is where they hang out. Like, it's hard to know that at first. The online world is vast. There are so many places and ways in which you can connect and find your people. So part of the discovery also is, what are the platforms that actually feel in alignment with me? Do you like hanging out on Facebook? Or do you like hanging out on Twitter? Are you social media at all? Would you like all these little things are stuff that you can't have figured out in the beginning. Like you won't know until you're in them. and you'll start to find out. So the whole process does take time. And I think that's one of the, I don't want to say danger quite, let's say danger -5 or something like that, is in the online world, there's so much promise of it happening quickly and of a ton of money quickly. Now, yes, it has happened that way for some, and that's just the case in any brick and mortar business as well. There's some situations in which stuff happens seemingly overnight, although of course we never know what it actually took to get there. We just found out about it, right?
Right.
So, but I think the online world, there's this, and myself in this, had this feeling of like, oh, this is going to go fast. Basically, I had this sense of speed, like, oh, if I do this, and this, it's going to go like this and market like this. Right. And discovered along the way that, oh, this is actually the way that these people have said your business will grow fast and follow these formulas don't end up lining up with how I like to do business, totally out of alignment with me. So, once kind of pulling myself out of that, I also realized like, well, a regular business takes time to build as well. If you show up on the corner of, Second and Third, that's not a corner, but anyway, right. Second and Morrissey, then it takes time, right? People have to know that you're there. You get the repeat customers. People tell other people, like that itself takes time. You find what merchandise actually works. So it's the same online, right? It might take a few years for it to it probably will take a few years. I mean, again, some people go faster, but I'm now coming into my 3rd year of being in this particular business. And there has been a huge learning experience in terms of, oh, this is who I serve. Oh, this is where I come alive and where I enjoy doing it. Oh, people say I should do this. And so I tried that again. No, that doesn't feel good. Okay, I'm going to go back over here. Right? It's been a path. And I think one of the things if you do happen to be someone that's listening right now and you're at this beginning stage, is like, know up front that there will be a journey no matter what. So starting now, small, just do it. Like it can be so tiny how you start.
Right.
It can be so tiny because no matter what, there is time that you're going to have to put in because you're figuring it out. And basically when you're online building a business, it's a live performance. You're figuring it out live, Yeah. And so you don't have to, you are. But the thing is it's not like you publish and you say your first thing on your Facebook thing and like 50,000 people are listening at all. It just happens to kind of feel like that, but they're actually not. So what's great about starting small in the very beginning when no one really knows what the heck you're up to is you can do so and stumble and no one really knows and no one cares. It's really brilliant.
Yes.
Like once I finally realized like, oh, okay, it's okay for me to stumble and figure this out. Right. Because it was only in doing so in that space that again, I could find it out. If I was just doing it in my head at home alone, nothing is found out. Nothing.
Yes. Oh, I'm just having flashback memories. And here's the funny thing that I want to point out. You and I are having this conversation, from someone who has an idea and they're just getting started in business. But really, quite frankly, this process repeats itself. I don't care how long you've been doing business. To launch a new series or to, kind of branch out into a new way, you are constantly needing to grow. And so this process is a constant thing.
Absolutely.
So I just want to point that out.
It's a rinse and repeat. And so I totally agree. And this is where then building the muscle of willing to start before you're ready, what you think is ready, right? Drop perfection because it's never going to happen, right? You and knowing that there's time, this takes time. Knowing that building the muscle of self-care, of compassion, like all that stuff is the sooner you can be at peace with all of that, with what it actually is to be an entrepreneur or solopreneur, the better off. You will have more ease in the process. You will find more joy. You will laugh more in the process, which is critical.
Yes.
Because, it is hard, but it's also like so invigorating and inspiring. And I just got chills, like to be able to actually put out in the world, to actually get to the point of like, this is this thing that you wanted to do and you're doing it. Holy cow, that's not many people get to do that.
Right.
And so to be in a position where you might be able to, and the gift to yourself, like, this is it. Here we are in this life, whether you believe in past lives, future lives, whatever, here we are right now. All that matters is right now. And so if you are at the point, the other thing that's also a really powerful kick in the butt is, what would it be like in 5 years if you didn't start this thing that you're thinking about? How would you feel? Like, put yourself in that place. Try and put yourself in the 5 years from now, and you didn't do it. Like, it doesn't feel so great. And especially if it feels really like, oh, then do please find the little way for you to begin. Look at the big idea that you have. Look to see, is there some part of this that I can start that's small? Is there a way that allows me to feel safe in the beginning, which is perfectly fine to wrap yourself in lots of love and safety in the beginning, and start small, if that's what you need to do to start. Whatever you need to do to start, do it.
Do it. Yes.
Don't question it, because we're all different what we need and how we're going to do that. There is no right or wrong to this. There's no one way to do that. That thing for you will be unique to everyone.
Wow. I love that. And one reason why I do love that is because if you are just getting started in this business world, you will soon realize there is a whole big world that you never even knew existed, right? There are a ton of people telling you what you should be doing, how you should be doing it. Follow this formula, pay pay me XYZ, and then I will give you your 6-figure income dreams.
Yes.
Wow. And you touched on this a little bit, and I'd love to talk about that, because one, I want to I don't know if I want to call it a warning. Maybe I do want to call it a warning, but just to be aware that those ways and those rules, I'm using air quotes, rules, are not for everyone. And so, and I love how you are talking about, that this one way is not the way for every single person, and just being in alignment with yourself.
And this is where that intuition really, which basically comes down to, how do you feel when you think about this? Like, are you making the decision because it's that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Are you making a decision on something because you feel like if you don't do it this one way, then you're going to miss out forever on something? Like, and then unpack that for a little bit. Like, is that realistic? Like, no, it isn't, but it's really easy to feel that way, especially when potentially the copywriting is done in such a way that you really feel like, or you have one day to decide, and it's this price and it's going to go away. But you know what? Here's the thing that we've talked about this, we've discovered is that price or that type of thing, it's around the corner at some point. So pretty much you're never going to really miss out on something. I've also like bought things like, oh, well, I don't need that quite yet, but I will eventually. So I'm just going to buy it now because it's a good price. And then I never use it. So, yes. So we are speaking from experience in this, and this is part of why in wanting to bring it up. And in hindsight, certainly it's knowing kind of where you're at in your business, and trying to find for yourself what's the next most important thing for you to be working on, right? And I've found that working in kind of 3-month increments works kind of well. It's like, well, what can I actually do in these next 3 months, right? You can't. There's the infrastructure of your business will grow over time. There's no way that you can build it all at once anyway. So what is the first thing that you might want to do? Maybe it's you're deciding that you want to have a website presence. Maybe it's that you want to start playing around with one of the social media options, and you're just going to kind of play in that. Taking it one step at a time is a good thing.
Right.
Because when you do try and do it all at once, again, when you have too many things in front of you at once, that can really slow down your momentum as well. And that can make you second guess all of this stuff, right? It's like, wait, I have to do all these things. Which one should I do? And I don't know. And so there's obviously a lot to talk about in here, but I think that as you're growing the business, really kind of looking at what is the next most important thing that I have to do, and paying attention again to that, how you feel, the alignment and your intuition on, do I really need this right now? And that oftentimes you can find stuff on your own up to a point where then you'll have a good strong sense like, oh no, this really is worth my money, because this is the part that I keep getting stuck on, whether you hire somebody to help you with it or you learn how to build this one thing, right? So, yeah.
Right. And I actually really love that I my wheels started turning thinking about the 3-month increment and how if I would have applied that to so many things, so I'm going to come clean that I bought this landing page software because I really knew that I needed to be, and I'm using air quotes, needed to be doing webinars, right? I need to be doing webinars. So I'm not doing it yet, but I know that they have this special price. So I'm going to purchase this. And so that when I'm ready to do webinars, I'm going to have this. Okay. Well, I spent a lot of money on this thing. It was a total FOMO, fear of missing out opportunity. And I would not have been ready to run webinars in 3 months, right?
Right.
And if I would have applied that lens,
Exactly.
I could have said, wow, this is a great price, but I'm not going to be missing out because I'm not going to be doing webinars in 3 months.
Right.
And so just looking at things through that lens, I think is really super helpful.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel that we get trapped in that kind of mindset. It is thinking that, if we just have this one more training, one more platform, one more software, then our whole path will be lit, right? I mean, we just feel like we need to have all those tools in our toolbox, and then we'll know exactly what we need to do.
Yeah. And the truth is, right, as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, you're going off-road. You have your backpack, you have your survivor gear, you have your machete, you're going off-road, and you are a special breed of person because this is actually an adrenaline rush for you, right?
Right.
And so it behooves you to recognize that and to understand that that means that every aspect of being a solopreneur is actually part of your adrenaline rush. And you're going to do it anyway. And actually the thrill of falling and getting back up is a thrill because damn, does it not feel awesome when you get back up and dust off and keep going? Like that is empowering, right? And it's growth. Not going to do that again. Or maybe you kind of do a version of that again, but then after that, you're really not going to do it again. But it is a growth. There is a spiral that happens. It's like a spiral where you're going around. You can't see my finger going around, but you're going around and you will spiral back and learn different lessons, but you're a little bit higher up, right? There are things that you will build upon. But you're absolutely going off-road. You're absolutely, you're hacking through and you're carving your own path. And that's a really, again, it's a profoundly empowering, inspiring, awesome thing to do. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm so stoked that I get to do this and thrilled that I get to help women that are going after their thing kind of help navigate. I'm a little bit like a guide, but I don't know what your path is, but I will be there to support and say, yep, you get to build your own path. Because it's your business. And so that's where the joy comes from, is that you look and you say, I have built my business based on my day-to-day, based on who I am as a person, based on what I believe in, my morals, my ethics, based on how I love to play, all this stuff. My business is me. This is how I'm showing up and I'm loving it. Like that's the ideal. And that can happen alongside the realities of the bumps of all that and the bumps of life and all that stuff. But you can build that kind of business. And so I get all riled up about it. I'm so excited. But it really is possible. It's so the intuition part. It's so listening to self. It's so discovering self and honoring self and taking care of self and all of that. And it's every single day I have to remind myself, I'm still working on that. Like this isn't just you'll figure it out and you go. I have practices built into my day. I know how to take care of myself. I have learned over time what is necessary for me to be doing this so that I have that inspiration daily, so that I have the feed daily. And yes, there are days where I slump down and go, it's hard. But, I'm got kids and all this stuff, right? I am certainly in the middle of juggling all that stuff. And it's just so empowering and, again, inspiring to find the rhythm. I don't know if it's a balance, but I think it's a rhythm. Certainly it's a dance.
Yeah, that balance thing is...
it's a little elusive.
It's very elusive, isn't it? So, yes, it's very elusive. And I know
guess what it is that you can find the balance. It just may not be even, right? It's not the perfect, right? It's just that you're kind of like, whoop, over here, whoop. Okay.
Right,
It's like surfing,
exactly.
right? You're on the wave. You're balancing on a board. That's exactly what it is.
Yes, it
And
is
you will
exactly
fall off
like
sometimes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can actually remember doing that as a kid, being in the playground and you're on the teeter-totter. Remember
Yeah.
those old teeters? I don't even think they have
I
those
know. Those
anymore.
things are, yeah.
So, but you could stand on either side,
Yes,
and
exactly.
that is what it does feel like.
Yeah.
It really does feel like.
Yeah.
And yes, you are a mom and you have 2 kids. And so finding that balance of, I always love when you use the phrase, how you can build your business alongside your life,
Yes.
right? So it doesn't have to take over,
Yeah.
though sometimes it may feel like it, but
Yeah. And
Right.
I'll admit that I came up with that because in the beginning I was allowing it to take over a bit more. I came from, prior to this business that I'm doing right now, I was in the startup world. I co-founded a startup, and that was more of a full-time thing. I had help with my kids, and that was part of what was really out of whack for me on that was that, wait a minute, I want to be with my kids.
Right.
And so starting this business has allowed me to, I work when they're in school, and then when they're at home, I'm with them and taking them to soccer and all the other stuff
Right.
that is part of my life at the moment. And this is what I wanted. This is the life that I wanted to build, was doing the business, the work that I love doing alongside the life that I also love, which is being with my kids and all the other ups and downs that particular life involves,
Yeah.
right? But alongside your life, so important. Mm-hmm. Again, whatever that may be for you, what that looks like for me is totally different from you, right? Like we all will have our own version of what that means for us.
Right, exactly. Because in all honesty, like for me, my kids are off of college or graduated college, so my daily circumstances are a little bit different than yours. Yeah. And then how you balance that with what's going on. You may start a business like I did, working full time. So there's that balance of that as well.
Exactly.
Right. So, Ellen, I can't believe it, but our time is coming to an end. But I want to share with the Schmid Life listeners, I know that you have this great opt-in that can help them kind of align with starting a business or looking at a business that's already started maybe, and they're just feeling like things are off. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah.
And where they can
absolutely
find you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So something that when I first came out, I was a brand strategist, a brand designer prior to, in my life before this. So now with the coaching, what really came from that was what started off with Brand on Purpose, and then the kind of shortened version of that was BOP. And BOP, so first BOP stood for Brand on Purpose, and then it became Brand Business Be on Purpose. And so the training that I have, which is How to Brand on Purpose, really it goes into kind of the 3 pillars, which is that kind of self-discovery thing. What is your why? What is your why around your business? So that in tapping into why is it that you're doing what you're doing? What is that? Where is that coming from? Why the people that you're really having the clarity on that becomes your true north within your business. And that's where you want to go back to time and time again, because that's where you're going to find that alignment. The other part is, how does it that you want your people to feel? Because you are connecting with the people, who it is that you're providing your service for, having clarity on who they are, where they're at, empathy for where they're at, understanding, right? And then actually crafting the experience of what they're going to have. Because as you build an online business, what you have is it's a 2D pixelated world, right? You actually don't have that connection as you do in person. So really paying attention to how you are establishing that connection and how they are feeling. And then basically owning it. The third part of that is kind of own it. How do you own it? How do you bring that into your brand messaging, onto your website, etc.? The thing about branding is, what a brand is, a lot of people feel that or think that it's like the logo or the colors that you choose, the photos that you use, etc. And that is the visual component of your brand. But what a brand is the story that people tell themselves about you, about their experience with you, about all interactions with you. So branding is around really, as much as you can, cultivating the experience that they're going to have, so that the brand story that they tell themselves about you is the one that is in alignment with who you are and the business offerings that you have. So it's this kind of all connected.
Right.
So this training walks through that beginning. It's a little bit different than some of my peers in terms of talking about what branding is. It's a little bit different, and it definitely touches upon a lot of what we talked about today, which is kind of that self-discovery, and it really starting there. I can't tell you what happens when you start from there, when you build your business from that point of that solidness within yourself, right? And again, that becomes your true north, because as you're building, you'll need to come back and go, wait, am I in alignment? Is this right? Again, intuition, etc. So that's the How to Brand on Purpose training. You can find it on my site. It's HéleneScott.com, which is HELENESCOTT.com. Right. I didn't have a jingle to go with that, but I felt like I almost should.
You do that so well. And I know that you have to, because the way that your name is pronounced and the way that it's spelled is a little bit different.
Yes, it's Hélène, but it looks like Helene. There you go. Something I have to talk about all the time, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And yes, that training actually was the first step that I took to become connected with you. And it really is a wonderful training. And I actually do, as I'm branching out now and building Midlife Schmidlife, this is a new venture for my business, and have found that I do continuously need to go back to that true north as I'm making decisions and going forward. And I want to point out something too, because I know that this is probably big in discussions. Branding is more than your colors and your fonts, and really coming from this place of really your own values. And help make those decisions, right?
Exactly. It's like, I like the analogy that your the colors, all that stuff, that's like the paint that you put on a house. You wouldn't first apply the paint without the structure of the house, right? It'd be this big puddle on the ground. You might like the colors, but it's not...
Right.
There's nothing. So the brand really is that foundation, as well as kind of like the business foundation, and then the structure. It's the shape of the walls and the shape of the rooms itself. So that's the building that needs to happen, and then afterwards, everything that's kind of the decorative aspect becomes the visual part, and that is important, certainly. But more important than that is where you're coming from. What is your why? How you show up? That's your brand, because you can shift what you're doing a little bit here and there within what you're doing. But when you have that connection, that's the connection that people feel, right? It's in branding, like attracts like, essentially. And so how you're putting yourself out there so that you attract your right people, because no matter what, you're telling a story. So is it your right story? Is it attracting your right people? And so that's where that alignment piece comes in. Knowing that alignment, then you're going to attract your right people, your perfect fit people.
Lovely. That's just gorgeous. No, it's just like, yes, that makes so much sense. It's so perfect.
Good.
So,
right.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Nope, that was it.
Well, Ellen, I know that you and I could just kind of go on and on and on and on about this, because we both love this subject, actually. So, but I want to thank you. I will have all I will have the link to your website in the show notes.
Perfect.
And so I just thank you for joining me, and thanks for having a great conversation. To the listeners who want to start a business or look at the business that they are building and really have it in alignment with who they are.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ellen, for joining me in today's episode. And Schmidlifers, I am hoping this conversation inspires you to take the first steps in creating that business that you've always dreamed of. Also, if you already are in business, I hope this will help you discover your why and align with your true north to have the business you've always dreamed of having. You'll be able to find all the links mentioned on the episode over at the show notes at midlifeschmidlife.com/bop. And while you are over at the website, be sure to sign up for the Insiders List. You will receive emails on episodes, future programs, and events. And if you can't make it to the website, be sure to text Midlife to 444-999, and you will be prompted to add your email, and then you will be added to the list that way. Each week during the Midlife Toolbox series, I'm recommending an audiobook that is a good companion with the episode. This week's book is The Firestarter Sessions by Danielle Laporte, and I know this is actually a favorite of Ellen's, and listening to the audio version is a great way to begin thinking about taking steps down your own entrepreneurial path. Thanks to Audible, you can sign up for a free trial at midlifeschmidlife.com and receive a free download of the book. Now, Schmidlifers, I hope you will head over to the show notes, midlifeschmidlife.com/bop. you'll be able to find a link on how to connect with Hélène, and there you can sign up for her Brand on Purpose training. It is one that I return to time and time again as I am growing and changing my business, and I know that it can be an eye-opener for you. Starting your own business can be scary, and often a lot of inner critic conversation can happen. Now, these conversations can include, why would anybody want to do business with you? Or you have nothing original to share. Believe me, I've been there. You aren't and you won't be alone. This process has been a journey of true self-discovery for me, and one that has led me to sharing the Schmidlife message each week. And it never would have happened without that very first step to light my own path.
Thanks for joining Liz for the Midlife Schmidlife podcast. Remember, some days are never on your calendar until you put them there. Until next time.